Dump truck.
Hey, what's up, Daddy?
How's it going, man?
Well, it just got a whole lot better. We have both Texas and Kansas City on the track for another epic and legendary matchup.
This only happens ever so often, but when it does, you never forget it.
No, we don't. And this is just an honor and a pleasure to be able to call this game. Who we have on the jammer line?
Well, it looks like we have Olivia Shootin' and Kelly Young.
That's right, Olivia Shootin' now at the front of the pack, trying to get around the front two wall of Kansas City defenders. Kelly Young still stuck in the back of the pack going.
Kelly Young hung up in the back. Olivia Shootin' threatening the front and gets around Bruiser, lead jammer, but has to recycle herself. Kelly Young doing a pirouette in the back, trying to get behind the Texas four wall in the back. Olivia Shootin' comes out, and a no pack, so Kelly Young is going to get out.
Not if Lucille Bra has anything to say about that. She was hot on her heels. Number 56 for Texas, Lucille Bra, been around since day one.
Not making it easy, that's for sure, but Kelly Young does make it out. However, OJ enters the pack once again in scoring position, and it is the Texecutioners who draw first blood.
One of the big reasons for that is it looks like Kansas City's already got a little bit of penalty trouble. Only two blockers on the track at the end of that jam.
4 and out. Yeah, how about that? Very first jam, and they have two blockers in the box already.
Well, these leagues are not going to be feeling each other out when it comes to how to start playing this game. They know that they both are some of the experts when it comes to flat track roller derby. They know what game they want to play. They're going to do their damnedest to play it from the first whistle to the last.
No doubt about that. Texas puts up a four wall in the back. It does not stop Track Rat, who blasts out the front of the pack. Lead jammer, Kansas City.
Nice way for Kansas City to turn it up here in the second jam. It does look like Vicious Van Gogh jamming for Texas is now out of the pack. For those at home, white and red is going to be Kansas City. Black and red is going to be Texas.
Kansas City, the hosts of this tournament, looking to break the so-called curse. No hosting WFTDA team in postseason Big Five, Big Three, I guess you call it in the old days, has ever won the tournament they are hosting. KC trying to be the first.
It's kind of like being on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Be prepared for a bad thing coming right after that. But you know what? Kansas City looks to be extremely strong. And against Texas's always strong team, this is going to be tight right now. It's 4-4.
You know, yesterday we were talking about the point spread between Texas and Atlanta and KC and Nashville being pretty similar. We thought that might have said something, but we just saw the third place game, Nashville lambasting Atlanta. Action back underway on the track. Bloody Mary. Lead jammer, Texecutioner. So absolutely punch for punch out here. Tied 4-4. All balls looking for the front door, and Bloody Mary's going to get there first. It's a battle of the number 30s, incidentally.
I tell you, it looks like Kansas City's pack play is definitely in it to win it. You saw both Evolution and one of her fellow blockers doing a little bit of teamwork as Bloody Mary trying to get through, pushing with her sternum. You like to see that their heads are in it. Evolution trying to go after Bloody Mary, who's now made it to the front of the pack.
Bloody Mary just getting bumped all around by the front of the pack right now, having a hard time getting out. Bella Fire and Evolution. Open up a lane for Track Rat. Out she comes. That was her initial non-scoring pack, so no points go on the board, and Bloody Mary's already there to score some points.
Bloody Mary gets pumped to the infield, picks up a minor track cut there, calls off the jam before Kansas City can answer back.
She does get all 4 points on the pass. She got the jammer lap point, but she did not get one of the blockers for a cut track minor. Vicious Van Gogh standing on the line once again. Kelly Young, her opponent.
We do want to thank Dr. Hauschka, the official ouch aid of the WFTDA. They can heal your bruise, and you can go on looking fantastic while you skate fast, turn left in Kansas City.
Vicious coming off the line, looking for an open lane on the outside. She's not going to find it. Good grief, that three wall, just a mosh pit. Wow.
Wow, what a bar fight that looked like right at the apex between 1 and 2. Vicious Van Gogh having to break out whips and chains and nunchucks just to try to get out of there. Captain Bruiser up there alongside number 26, who looks fantastic. Bella Fire working it out.
That was all Bruce Herr preventing Vicious Van Gogh from getting out of the front of the pack. And Kelly Young, as a result, is lead jammer. Kansas City with that deadly combination of impenetrable defense and then somebody who can exploit it like Kelly Young. Now Vicious comes out in the front of the pack. So both jammers in scoring position, but Kelly Young already there, untouched as she sails through a half-size Texas pack.
Well, now it looks like Texas is going to have 8 points. Kansas City is going to have 8 points. We've got 24 minutes, 48 seconds to go of this nonstop toe-to-toe, heel-to-steel roller derby action.
Hey, man, let me tell you what, when there's like 4 jams in and it's tied and it's like 4 and then 4 on the other side and then 4 more and 4 more and it looks like a bar fight in the jam every time.
I need my heart medicine.
What's it going to be like in the second half? What's it going to be like late in the game?
What's it going to be like in 10 minutes?
Jeez. Track Rat standing on the line, facing off against Olivia Shooting John. Track Rat threatening the front. Lucille Brawl cannot contain her. Lead jammer, Kansas City. Track Rat.
Nice move by Track Rat, skating very low, coming out of turn 2. Know that she's got to hunker down and turn up the speed as Olivia Shooting John is one of the most capable and fast jammers to ever grace this track.
No doubt about that. Track Rat comes out the front, and she does call it in time. So 4 and out. Wow, listen to the crowd for a 4 and out jam.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to that kind of points at the end there, Dwayne. It's not going to be a 50-point game at the end of the day. It's not going to be a 20-point game at the end of the day. It is going to be 15 or less, and that is my prediction to see what happens here at the end. Kansas City with 12 right now over Texas 8. We've got 23-41 to go.
I see it. I would be very surprised if your prediction does not come true. Bloody Mary standing on the line now, facing off against Case Closed, one of the junior members of the jammer rotation, but just as effective as anybody. And she's been there a couple of years, actually. Case Closed, lead jammer Kansas City, Bloody Mary trying to fight her way through. And
well, Case Closed just gets to the back of the pack and starts to make pretty good work of it. Smarty Pants tried to take her out, not able to do so. She picks up a grand slam, the first one of this game for either team. And they're going to go to the bench. This place is getting loud. The roof is starting to lift a bit.
Wolves howling in the distance.
It's a little scary.
Kansas City, I don't know even how it happened. Last couple years, they somehow turned into the Wolfpack. They evolved or devolved, if you prefer.
Well, on the jammer line, looks like we are going to have Vicious Van Gogh in black and red for Texas. And in the white jerseys and red pants, it's going to be Kelly Young for the Kansas City Roller Warriors.
Kelly Young, I called her Snot Rocket during the introductions. That's the name she went by originally when she was one of the early stars of the WFTDA. Changed to her real name at some point. Kelly Young hung up in the back. And Vicious Van Gogh takes advantage. Lead jammer Texecutioners. Kelly Young gets a nice assist out of Trauma.
Just to get around Molotov and Pale. And Vicious Van Gogh, boy, she hit that back of that pack faster than I've ever talked in my entire life. Looks like it's going to be 4 points for Texas there, 0 for Kansas City.
And here we go.
5-point game, 21-55 to go, denouncer Dwayne.
This time, Olivia Shooting John stands on the line again. Track Rat. We've got blockers aplenty in the box. 2 on the Kansas City side, 1 on Texas side. That's the pivot Lucille Brawl, and it looks like a timeout now called for Kansas City.
We do want to thank some of our following tournament partners: Spenlin Media, Union Vacations, Protect Dent Mouth Guards, Skate Court, and Jules Doyle Photography.
This is definitely the kind of timeout where they go talk to the officials, and then in all likelihood it turns into an official timeout. We'll see. We're making predictions on that even.
Hey, you know, we're all about telling the future. And in the future, if you plan on hitting this track, you need to make sure you pick up one of the WFTDA's official and proud sponsors, like Adam Wheels. Check them out at adamwheels.com. They've got some of the latest high-performance protective gear out there now. And not to forget about their fantastic and competitive wheel selection they have for any surface and any width, any hardness as well.
It will improve your game, and that's a future we're confident in predicting.
Oh, you're pretty.
I know, I can't help it. Track Rat standing
We'll try.
Oh, okay, I'll do a better job not being pretty. OJ on the line, facing off against Track Rat. Action back underway. Oh. Pardon me, it was a challenge on points we just heard from the head ref. The point stand, it is still a 5-point game. Just under 9 minutes into the game.
And it looks like it's going to eat up one of Kansas City's timeout. Texas still has all 3. Kansas City with 2 left. Olivia Shooten-John trying to go through the middle of that pack. Track Rat gets caught in traffic, and it looks like Olivia Shooten-John is going to be the lead jammer for the Texecutioners.
Olivia Shooten-John en route to the backfield. Track Rat still stuck in the pack. Number 33 on the defense, Loose Bandit. The skater who went through the Junior Derby program in Tucson and then transferred to the Texecutioners, tries to hold her back, does so long enough for OJ to pick up 4 unanswered points, and suddenly we have a 1-point game.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of ignore that for a little bit because no matter, even if we don't talk about the score, it's going to come back and it's going to be just about the same exact difference.
Every other time. Kansas City managing to stay on top so far, but, it's been by 4 points, 1 point. Texas taking a knee hand in hand. Wow, what a fun configuration that is.
Looks like a shenanigan jam. I am using specific regional diction. That is what they call that big block at the back of the pack at the very beginning of a jam here in Kansas City.
It works because I knew exactly what you meant the second you said it.
Oh.
Case close, threatening the front of the house. Look how fast this pack is moving. Good. Oh, my God. Bloody Mary just flattened and sent into the pack by Evolution.
Evolution giving some lucky fan a free hug.
It's like a Popeye cartoon. Jeez.
She hits the penalty box really, really hard. She knows that every second counts, literally, when you need to be on that track.
Look at Bloody Mary. She gets hit by Eclipse. She gets hit by Annie Mall, then by Bruiser, then by Eclipse again.
Yeah, those are 3 names that you want to be on the same team, not on the other side of the bench. But she sticks with it. Bloody Mary's got lead jammer status. We've got 1 minute to go. That took a full minute to fight through one of the most intense and talented packs here at the South Central Region playoffs.
And only a veteran professional like Bloody Mary could have withstood that pressure.
I agree. Case closed, gets taken out a bit there in turn 4, but she is released. She is through the pack on her initial pass. Bloody Mary poised to score, trying to get around Eclipse, pointing her out to her fellow teammates there in the pack, and looks like...
Oh, what was that?
Ooh, Bloody Mary squeezing her way through the inside, but has to do some time at the infield. Calls off the jam, picks up 3 for Texas, and Kansas City gets 2.
Case closed, snuck right in there. How about that? Look at the crowd. Listen to this crowd.
Look at the face on Eclipse. She comes out of that pack looking hungry, looking angry, and scaring the snot out of everybody in black and red. Looks like we're going to start with a split pack here. Kansas City owning the front with 3. Texas taking a knee, forcing forward momentum, making these jammers fight through this pack right at the jammer line.
Vicious Van Gogh trying to size up Noogies and Bella Fire. They turn around and they just grind into one another. Vicious Van Gogh able to break through them, but jeez, it looked like a fight. It looked like a bar fight, this whole thing.
Vicious Van Gogh, yeah, a clean bar fight. This is the only place that those ever happen.
Serving jumbo shrimp.
Vicious Van Gogh picks up 2, calls off the jam to make sure Kansas City doesn't get to answer back. I tell you, that's one jammer that has had one fantastic weekend.
Yeah, I should say so. Now Olivia Shooten-John facing off against Snot Rocket, not for the first time in this game. Certainly not the last. Kansas City with a full defense. Texas missing only, is that Bell Star in the box? And... correction, it is. Oh, it's Vicious. No, it's Bellstar.
In the box for Texas looks to be Killbox.
There's an official standing right behind her, and my X-ray vision fails me.
Mine's working perfectly.
It's that yellow sun.
Olivia Shooten-John skipping right around Bruiser in tune 3, and she's going to end up picking up lead jammer status. And it looks like pretty soon to be hot on her heels is Kelly Young as she breaks out of the pack as well. This pack is moving up the pace as Kansas City knows that they need to make Texas chase and hunt them down for all of these points. Here comes Kelly Young, Dwayne.
Wow, OJ saw Evolution coming in for a landing and frantically called off the jam just before the hit
Well,
landed.
we've seen what she can do so far, already sending Bloody Mary into the fans there in the suicide seating over in turn 1. Who's to say she can't get her timing down twice?
I think she probably preferred to watch Kelly Young approach the pack, but instinct took over and she had to watch Evolution approach her instead.
Exactly. Is it time to bob and weave or take on a brick wall head on?
Jeez. Turned out to be the latter, and the result is a 23-19 lead, 4 points for Texas. Track Rat, jeez, grinding into this black wall. What was that?
Evolution with a sternum block there, completely legal and clean, and it slowed down Bloody Mary long enough to try and gain an advantage there, but Bloody Mary continues to show her resiliency as she goes against Bruiser, gets out of the pack, picks up lead jammer status. These are two groups of some amazingly athletic women.
Track Rat still stuck in the pack, trying to find her way out, ground into the inside by the defense. And OJ taking the opportunity. Pardon me, Bloody Mary taking the opportunity to enter the back of the pack in scoring position past 3 of the blockers, but not Evolution without a fight. Oh, that's going to be a no pass, no point. No point, no penalty. No nothing.
Bruiser, the last little touch and go. Texas picks up 3 there. Kansas City 0. So far, this looks like it could be the biggest lead of the game with 7 points between Texas and Kansas City. 15 minutes, 28 seconds to go, Dwayne.
It is a runaway blowout for this game.
Yeah. On the jammer line for the first time for Kansas City is going to be Jade Lightning, and it looks like Vicious Van Gogo, one of the 3 primary jammers for the Texecutioners.
With a blocker in the box on either side, Texas takes a knee to get the jam started. Vicious Van Gogo has only Bruiser in front of her, but only Bruiser.
Only Bruiser. I don't know if anyone's ever said that before.
First time, and Vicious Van Gogo managed to make it out. She commits a forearm minor. She is ineligible for lead jammer, so Jade Lightning's going to try to get out the front of the pack and shut it down, and she does so. She gets the lead jammer anyway. Oh, hesitated for just a second. But it wasn't time though, so no points on the jam.
Nice call there, calling off the jam just in time. I tell you, Jade Lightning had a battle in front of her going against the captain of the Texecutioners, Corvette, and then Lucille Brawl at the same time. Barely able to squeak out, but she had the advantage. It was all she needed to keep that point scoring under control.
Killa Salmonella looks like Loose Bandit. And Bellstar in the defense for Texas.
This is what happens when people hang out instead of skate. Bellstar starts to hop around because that's what she wants to do. She wants to get this thing going, get it moving, and it looks like Kelly Young starting to move to the front of the pack right now, and Olivia Shootin' finding some room there at the inside, but not before Kelly Young can take advantage of the opposite side of the track, picks up lead jammer.
Ooh, and looks like OJ still getting just bounced around by Trauma and Eclipse. Eclipse going in for another one, blocked by Loose Bandit. Wow.
The agility of a powerhouse like Eclipse just is frightening.
And yet Loose Bandit willing to throw herself in front of it to protect OJ. Kelly Young sails through the pack, 4 and out.
And it's a 3-point game, Dwayne. 13 minutes, 22 seconds ago. You are watching the 2011 WFTDA South Central Region Playoffs on WFTDA.com. Rydell Skates is a proud partner and the official skate of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. If it's got wheels underneath it and it's got a boot on top of it, I guarantee you, Rydell's the place to go.
Seen a lot of Rydells this weekend, and now a timeout called by Texas.
Elemental Technologies, the world's most powerful video processing solutions, bringing you this fantastic roller derby action, hopefully in the high-quality feed. If not, shame on you, and we'll get you next weekend in Indianapolis for the North Central Region Playoffs.
But one thing you won't see there is this game, 26
What are you trying to say, man?
But to be fair, you do get the archives, and you can watch whatever you want.
I tell you, it's a great tool for your teams when you're competing in these tournaments. I've heard many times from all sorts of different teams going, hey, we went home to the hotel, we watched the feed and helped us prepare for the game. What do we have going on in here, Dwayne?
Sounds like nature is about to overtake the place. It's about to return to nature in here. Hall Ball standing on the line at Battle of the 30s once again. Bloody Mary is who she faces off against. Kansas City's got their full defense, only 3 for Texas, with Killa Salmonella in the box. And Hall Ball's looking for a path up the gut. Almost had it, but bounced by the pivot.
Well, her pack is giving her time to work with as Bloody Mary still caught in the back of the pack behind the Wolf pack. And Hall Balls breaks loose.
Trauma just flattens Bloody Mary. Wow, what a hit by Trauma. Puts Bloody Mary on the floor, and she cannot get through this pack. Hall Ball sails right through it.
Wow, Hall Balls with a great inside line, opened up again by number 5 Trauma, giving her some room, wiggle room if you will, to break on through and pick up some points for Kansas City, who have now taken the league back over by 1 point.
4 points on the pass due to a no point, no penalty, but Hall Balls now gets another run. This one also only 4 points. She did get the jammer lap point, but lost one, this time due to a, drum roll please, we don't know.
Well, what we do know is that Hall Balls knows how to duck and cover as she comes out of turn 4 and picks up a grand slam, Kansas City.
Her third scoring run and finally gets the grand slam she was looking for. Bloody Mary at this point hanging back and playing defense. Wow, what a nice weave from the outside to the inside and back. Oh, but a 3-wall in the front, and Hall Balls hits the floor. Back on her feet, looking again. Bloody Mary still caught up in the pack on her initial non-scoring run, and KC.
Well, you know, KC knows that no matter where you have Bloody Mary in this jam, she's going to fight for every single inch. And you see some love going there from the side of Kansas City right to Bloody Mary, blowing kisses. And, yeah, I think things might be getting a little bit intense between Bella Fire and Bloody Mary.
It is possible. That punk kid. Bella Fire.
Some people's children.
Yeah.
All right. You hear the Wolfpack call here in Kansas City. On the jammer line in black for Texas, it's going to be Olivia Shooting John. And it looks like that's going to be Track Rat for Kansas City as she busts out, becomes your lead jammer.
Well, look how fast Track Rat is moving, but the pack moving almost as fast. She's going to have a hard time catching up with it if it doesn't slow down. Olivia Shooting John having a hard time with Bruiser, but Bruiser a mile out in front of the pack has to let her go.
Track Rat needs to be calling the jam off right now. She does become aware. Picks up 4 points for Kansas City. 0 there for Texas.
The last possible split second to cut her off.
This is a merry-go-round of momentum. 41 points for Kansas City. 26 for Texas. Dwayne, there's 10 minutes, 8 seconds to go in this first period.
Not enough for me.
No, not yet. I'm glad there's 2 periods.
Yeah, me too. OJ faces off against KY, Kelly Young. 3-wall in the back for Texas. Only 2 blockers on the track for Kansas City, although they will get Evolution back almost immediately. Trauma takes down Olivia Shooting John, and Kelly Young wanting to take advantage, having a hard time.
Kelly Young having to go against Bellstar and Lucille Brawl, who are still able to contain her in that pack. It looks like lead jammer Dwayne is going to be Olivia Shooting John.
And Kansas City loses another blocker, which will not help their cause as Olivia Shooting John closes in scoring position now. Kelly Young breaks the front of the pack.
And I tell you, it's a simple talk-back kind of game. I don't know about simple, but it's definitely one person's to talk 1 second. They pass on that conch shell, and it's going to be the other team's opportunity to start picking up some points, closing the gap, and who knows what's going to happen there.
Kelly Young had just entered scoring position when OJ closed in, picked up 4 points, and shut it down. So 4 and out Texas. Now Case Closed goes to the line, and she will face off against Vicious Van Gogo.
Getting some player adjustments, making sure we do not have too many skaters on the track. Silly mistakes in this game will cause you this game.
Yeah, cannot happen.
Oh, nice bruise her. Pumping Vicious Van Gogo to the infield, making her recycle. And look, there you go. Case Closed is your lead jammer. Bella Fire out of the box now, joining her pack. Kansas City only down one blocker at this point, as is Texas. Vicious Van Gogo is on the hunt at the back of the pack, but it looks like Case Close is already trying to make her way to the front and pick up some points. You can see she's got her eyes on Vicious.
A mobile 3-wall just moving at a blistering pace. And that's going to limit her to only 3 points, but at least they're unanswered. Man, that was some fast derby being played.
48 points for Kansas City, 30 for Texas, under 8 minutes to go in the first period of this epic battle of unsurmountable proportion, deciding who's going to be number one, who's going to be number two in the seeding going to championships in Denver, Colorado this coming November, Dwayne.
Absolutely insurmountable. There is nothing left in this tournament. They are leaving everything they have in the track. Fatigue certainly not a factor, at least not after the game. Track Rat trying to push through on the inside. Texas plugging up the hole effectively, and Bloody Mary trying to sneak around on the outside. She's got Evolution and bruise her, which is never good news. Evolution with a swing and a miss, but it's enough to let Track Rat get through. Lead jammer, Kansas City, 48-30.
Evolution still all over Bloody Mary, and now Trauma's at the back of the pack doing a little bit of cleanup of her own. Bloody Mary now starting to move up to the front. Got to go against Bruise Her, captain of the Kansas City Roller Warriors, and she lets her go.
At the very least, she will prevent Track Rat from getting the jammer lap point. Track Rat trying to get as many points she can for Bloody Mary catches up. She sees her, shuts it down. 2 and out, Track Rat. Makes it 50-30, 6:42 left in the first half, and it feels like it has flown by.
Fast Girl Skates is the industry pioneer in boot sizing and configuration for women's feet. If you're a woman and you have feet and you'd like to put roller skates on them, check them out at fastgirlskates.com. And if you happen to be in the Seattle, Washington area, go by their storefront. It is a fantastic communal gathering of a very talented group of women that know a lot about not just roller derby, but the technical side of the equipment needed to play this game.
Timeout by Texas. I think this might be what Val referred to earlier as a garden hose timeout or a cool down timeout. In other words, Texas trying to cool down Kansas City on their momentous push.
It's an interesting time to call this timeout, Dwayne. You got 3 timeouts. Kansas City have yet to use any, and if this is still considered a timeout and not a points challenge, then Texas could be down yet another timeout, and these games come down to the wire. You're going to need all the time on the clock that you can use.
We got both coaches out there, Johnny Roastbeef and Jim from Kansas City, as well as the captain for Kansas City.
We've also got Green Monster Roller Sports, Antic Boots, Reckless Wheels, and Moto Bearings, revolutionizing roller derby. Green Monster Roller Sports.
Stick around for 7 more minutes, and you're going to see a wonderful commercial by them.
Oh, man, let's talk about that commercial for a minute. It was recorded at the West Region Playoffs last weekend in Portland, Oregon.
I didn't think I saw it in at Easterns.
No, yeah, that was last week. I remember the fountain.
So you're on site, then. You actually saw it happen.
I didn't see that go down, but I was very familiar with the surroundings. And that, what a fun way to promote your product.
Yeah, it is a work of art. If you haven't seen it, I can't explain it. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. There you go. Again, that was Texas challenging a false start minor. The call stands. OJ standing on the line. Kelly Young also. 2 blockers in the front. Annie Mall and Trauma just sandwich her. Gotta let her go. They're too far out, and OJ gets lead jammer.
Well, it turns out that the conversation during that official timeout was to determine whether it was a major or a minor illegal procedure. That's going to be a minor. Time's being served.
I see.
Olivia shooting John at the front of the pack. Tries to go to the inside of turn 1. Annie Mall's got to let her go, allowing Olivia shooting John to pick up 5 more points for the Texecutioners.
At this point, Kelly Young just hanging back and playing defense and does not catch her as she enters. Although she's hasn't stopped yet. Wow.
Boy, open up the barn door because Kelly Young's got some things to do today. Able to get through that pack. Olivia shooting John able to put another 5 points on the board for the Texecutioners. Both sides of this bench are more than prepared for this matchup, Dwayne.
Hey, by the way, Shortcut tried to throw a block on Kelly Young right at the end of that, and she looked like a torpedo. And Kelly Young in the last minute zigged and zagged and missed it.
Be looking for those big hits be coming later. They're not going to miss a lot of those on timing. These women are some of the most experienced and talented to play this game, and they're going to keep taking those shots, and eventually you're going to get that timing down. You're going to see something explode on the track.
On that one, Kelly Young wasn't even facing that way. She dodged it purely by sense of smell.
Vicious Van Gogh with the jammer line in black for Texecutioners. Bust to the inside of turn one. She's going to be your lead jammer. Looks like jamming for Kansas City is going to be Jade Lightning, who's still caught in traffic. Tries to go to the outside, but she's getting blocked by Lucille Brawl, and it looks like that's going to be number 22, Polygon, for the Texecutioners. Still giving her some punishment. Must let her go.
So both jammers in scoring position. Jade Lightning working her way through, but Vicious Van Gogh already engaged the pack on the outside. Eclipse caught looking. And 4 points put on the board by Vicious Van Gogh. None of them answered. All ball is going to replace her on the jammer line for Kansas City. And OJ for Texas.
Dr. Hauschka, the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. They are all over the place here at every single Big Five tournament. Make sure whenever you're on site, you go to their booth and check them out. Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid.
The Palindrome Jam, number 30 Hall Balls versus 03 OJ for the Texecutioners in black, Kansas City in white. OJ gets out first, lead jammer Texecutioners.
Hall Ball's now out of the pack as well, Dwayne. And here comes Olivia Shootin' right behind Annie Mall, who's already started the defensive play. Kansas City trying to keep the pack fast, but they got to let Olivia Shootin' get past that pack. And she ends up picking up 4 points for the Texecutioners. I tell you, both of these teams are going in hot at the half. It is 50 points, Kansas City, 48 for Texas, 3 minutes and 30 seconds ago in the first period.
What a game. What an unbelievable game.
Just blow my mind, why don't you?
Bloody Mary standing on the line. She'll face off against Track Rat. 3 defenders for either team. 1 in the box on both sides. Eclipse, Bruise her, and who's back there? Annie Mall?
Yes, that is Annie Mall, number 11.
Wanna slash.
Here we go. No pack situation. Here go the jammers. And they're going against this back Shenana Jam where there's a whole lot of defensive action at the back wall. And Track Rat's the first one to escape it, picking up lead jammer, Kansas City.
Right behind her is Bloody Mary, so both jammers in scoring position. But Track Rat's going to get there first. Wow, on the inside, she was moving fast. Calls off the jam after picking up 3 of the points. 3 and out. Kansas City just staying slightly ahead as we head into the half. 2.5 minutes away.
Showing the bench there for Kansas City. Track Rat and the girls already starting to talk about what's coming next whenever they hit that track. And I guarantee you're seeing the exact same thing on the side of Texas. Once they're off the track, they're talking about the game. They're not talking about bubble gum. They're not talking about the after party. They're getting things together, and they're getting strategy for the next jam that they're going to be hitting that track for.
Yeah, look at both coaching staffs. You can tell that they are focused. Both sides, look, well-oiled machines.
There goes Case Close, number 34 for Kansas City. Gets out of the pack, but she's going to do that behind Vicious Van Gogh, number 1853. Looks like it's going to be lead jammer, Texecutioners.
Case Close right behind, so Vicious Van Gogh going to have a choice to make as she approaches the back of the pack. And with Texas defense in the back and Kansas City's in the front, she is going to call it dead before the duo approaches.
High fives between Eclipse and Annie Mall. Very pleased with that last jam. Looks like Annie Mall wants to kind of stay out there on the track. And Trauma's going to join her in the pack, as is Evolution. There's a trio that you want on your side when you're wearing white. I tell you, the Wolfpack is apparent here as you hear them howling in the background.
Corvette, the team captain, leading a 4-strong 4-wall just in front of the plant.
Exactly that, helping Olivia Shootin' get out of there.
It worked. Olivia Shootin', lead jammer, Texecutioners. Track Rat trying to find her way out the front door. She finds it. Wow, what a nice tightrope walk on the outside. So at the very least, she's going to limit OJ to one pass, and I don't think she even got Evolution. She didn't get two. She only got two.
She got two of those. Looks like she ended up having to go to the infield while she was talking to that inside line for a few feet, having to make a break for it to the infield, not getting those last points that she passed out of bounds.
He was trying to walk the tightrope, did not quite keep it. 53-50. 3 points ahead by Kansas City with 20 seconds left.
All ball is going to be jamming for Kansas City. Looks like it's going to be Vicious Van Gogo leading the charge down the middle of the pack, getting bumped around by Evolution, going against Annie Mall. She's still at the front of the pack, trying to get through that Kansas City pack, who has got to let her go. Evolution tried to dodge a hit there. It looks like she did not make contact and will stay in the action.
Hall Ball's trying to sneak out the front door now. However, Loose Bandit has something else to say about it, shuts the door in her face. And that gives Vicious Van Gogo the opportunity to get the jammer lap point as well as the other four. Grand slam, Vicious Van Gogo, and a lead change going into the half.
Wow. Then we are going to go to halftime. Vicious Van Gogo has been proven all weekend long that she is supposed to be heavy in that jammer rotation. What a fantastic game we've seen here for the first half, Dwayne.
Unbelievable. If the second half is like this, you will get no complaints out of anybody except one of the teams.
Yeah, there's going to be one of the teams will be upset, but both of them are going to be headed to Denver, Colorado for the WFTDA Championship Tournament hosted by the Denver Roller Dolls.
You can hear the howling of wolves in the background. A tight defense on both sides. You saw plenty of good offense on both sides.
Yeah, you know, Texas is playing a game that I haven't seen them play so far this weekend. They tend to let their jammers just go do their job, and the pack focuses on defense altogether. I've seen a little bit of both from both sides of the benches. They're both bringing a similar game to each other. They're both bringing the most intense roller derby you're going to be able to find in the South Central region, and that's where you see the score look like it does with Texas 59, Kansas City 53.
Do not go anywhere. In just about 10 minutes, we are going to see the second half of this exciting game. For now, we send it down to the floor with Lady Oshun.
Hello, Derby fan. It is Lady Oshun bringing you live coverage from right here in downtown Kansas City, Missouri, from the historic Municipal Auditorium. Right now, you are watching the final game of the night, the big one everyone's been waiting for all weekend. 53 Kansas City, 59 Texas. In the last couple of seconds before the half, Texas was able to get yet again another lead change early on in this bout. You saw Casey running into penalty trouble, early. So a couple of things you saw: effective execution. It is like roller derby surgery out there right now. These ladies are athletic, they're sound, they're ready to get it in. They're doing their thing out there on the track. I know that you can't wait to come back from this halftime to see more roller derby action on that track, and I can't wait to bring it to you. Signing off here, we're bringing you more. Don't go anywhere. South Central's 2011 WFTDA Regional Playoffs.
Kansas City versus Texas is by far my favorite holiday. We're about to enjoy the second half of it. It is 59-53. Every time they face each other, it's like this dump truck. And here we are again. It only comes once a year or something.
We are here, and you are watching the 2011 South Central Region Playoffs on WFTDA.com. This broadcast brought to you in part by Dr. Hauschka Ouch Aid, the WFTDA's official bruise healer, Dr. Hauschka, at all of the Big Five events, and make sure you stop by and check them out. Also want to thank Elemental Technologies, the world's most powerful video processing solutions. Adam Wheels, the official wheel of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Rydell Skates, proud partner and the official skate of the WFTDA.
Two old fighters trading punches that know each other as well as they know themselves. Kansas City, the Kansas City Roller Warriors, in recent years calling themselves the Wolfpack, versus the Texecutioners, big sisters, mentors, greatest rivals of all time. It is. It's a holiday in Kansas City. If you like Derby, if you know anything about it, this is a holiday.
If you like roller derby, then you're welcome. There's no bow involved, but there's plenty of presents and gifts to be given to you, one jam at a time. Always a fantastic match. It's a historic as you said earlier, a historic rivalry in all the right ways.
Yeah.
These leagues respect each other. Now on the track, they are not friends. But at the end of the night, no matter who comes out on top, you're going to see a lot of smiles and a lot of good times coming post-game.
Yeah, it's never been one of those nasty rivalries. It's always been a solid, like, this is our greatest opponent.
It's a healthy love-hate relationship.
That
they
it is.
hate each other out there, and they love each other everywhere else.
Kansas City up by somewhere between 2 and 10 points most of the first half. Texas got in front just as halftime rolled around. Currently 59-53, and when the action gets back underway in mere seconds, we will see Kelly Snot Rocket Young standing on the line and facing off against Vicious Van Gogh.
Thanks to the following tournament partners for the action you see before you: Derby Skins, 5on5 Magazine, Sin City Skates, Talk is Cheap, and Vanilla Skates.
The entire defense inches away from the Jammers. It's going to take them a while to get over the top. Texas strolling back in a taunting way. Bell Star scoots back. The jam starts. Kelly Young tries to sail through. Vicious does it instead. And lead jammer Texecutioners. Kelly Young still caught up in the pack, but a lane opened up for her by Bella Fire. So she's now in scoring position too, but Vicious Van Gogh easily going to get there and shut it down before she comes anywhere close.
Texecutioners pack moving all the way out to the outside line, allowing Vicious Van Gogh to go to work. She does get caught up, picks up 3 points, though, for the Texecutioners as they start to extend their lead in the second period.
Before she gets anywhere close, turned out not to be entirely accurate. Kelly Young just about to sneak in the unlocked back door, but Vicious called it off at just the right split second.
Number 30 on the line for the Texecutioners in black. That is going to be Bloody Mary. Number 69 in white for Kansas City. That is going to be Track Rat. Texas taking a knee at the jammer line to start this thing off. Bloody Mary gets tripped up. Track Rat forcing her way to the front, now trying to go against, I believe that is that Bell. No, it is not. That is going to be Smarty Pants. And she gets recycled to the back of the pack now. Polygon with her eyes on her as well, and Killbox joining the action.
3-wall in the front, just absolutely neutralizing Bloody Mary, and Track Rat going to try to sneak around the outside. Still got the pivot left. She gets around. It is lead jammer Kansas City, and that was an awful lot of effort to get there.
They brought out all the weapons they had there in the jam. Not enough to hold her back as Track Rat starts to pick up some points here for Kansas City, who's wanting to get back in the lead, Dwayne.
Track Rat breaks out of the house, Bloody Mary rather, as Track Rat comes in scoring position. She does pick up 3 points, and Bloody Mary half a mile away. So 3 and out Kansas City as they try to get back in front of Texas. Hall Ball's now standing on the line, and she will face off against Olivia Shootin' Palindrome Jam.
We do want to thank Roller Girl Skates, big supporter here locally at the event. You can find them at rollergirlskates.com. Whenever you're at the events, look for Trigger Mortis in the crowd to sign up for a free set of wheels from rollergirlskates.com.
A defender in the box on both sides, taking advantage immediately. Olivia Shootin' finds her way to the front of the pack, but then just gets roughed up by Evolution. And taking advantage of that is Hall Balls, lead jammer Kansas City. But she shuts it down.
I do not believe the Hall Balls had lead jammer status.
Am I wrong about this? Did Hall Balls come out first and then OJ got it? Must have been what happened. All right, so
on the jammer line for this jam for Kansas City in white and red is going to be Kelly Young. In black and red is going to be Olivia Shootin' for the Texecutioners.
Texecutioners still have 1 blocker in the box, but Kansas City has all of theirs. Curiously, it is Texas who wants to get the jam started. They take a knee. They've taken a knee on almost every jam. And
the Killer Salmonella going for some big hits here in this jam, trying to stay all over Kelly Young. Trying to get around Loose Bandit as well. Now she's starting to make her way to the front of the pack. Finds the inside line at turn 1. Dwayne, we've got lead jammer Kansas City.
Kelly Young, so talented at just searching and destroying for an open lane. She found one just diagonally right up through the pack.
Olivia Shootin' now at the front of the pack. Got to get around Annie Mall, who is too far in front of the pack to do anything about it. Kelly Young now going around Loose Bandit. Got to find a hole here somewhere. Loose Bandit goes to the infield. Looks like she kind of took herself there, allowing Kelly to pick up 4 points for Kansas City, making this game now a 2-point game. 62 Texas, 60 for Kansas City, 25 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
Oh, man, 2-point game. I don't know what caused Loose Bandit to go into the infield. I think that maybe she lost her footing a little bit and regained it by doing a little spin pirouette.
Whatever it was just enough to give Kelly the advantage. You know, Loose Bandit, one of the most impressive skaters. Everyone around the world knows her story, starting in Junior Derby, which we experienced a little bit this afternoon.
That's right, and Track Rat, I don't think anybody realized the jam had started yet. She just showed up in front of the pack. Lead jammer Kansas City, and Vicious Van Gogh snuck around, bruised her, so Track Rat not going to get the jammer lap point. Wow, Corvette just with a vicious hit toward Track Rat, but Track Rat dodges it at the last second. Still could not get around that 2 wall in the front, has to shut it down. Oh, she did. She did at some point, so she gets all 4 unanswered by Vicious Van Gogh. And we have a lead change. Track Rat now vaults Kansas City in front by 2 points, 64-62, and the crowd seems to like it.
Yeah, they're enjoying it. This is the home crowd. Got to be another thing in the tool shed that gives Kansas City advantage here is that additional skater that is on the bench known as your audience. Corvette going to the center of the track, talking to the head official, not happy with some things that conspired in the previous jam.
Hallball's on the outside, gets around the Texas defense. Lead jammer Kansas City, Olivia Shootin' John in the back. Cannonballs into the front, and she makes it out. So both jammers in scoring position, but Hallball's already there. The entirety of the Texas defense in the front, they lose a blocker to the penalty box on a cut track. That was Barbara Ambush. Hallballs comes out the front of the pack, and it is 67-62.
We do want to thank a combination that is known for winning, Derby Supply. The best customer service in the business, period, and personally responsible for bringing me to the Big 5 tournaments. Derby-Life, customized nutrition programs and coaching. Put more life in your game. They're helping these singlets get looser and looser as each game passes.
Case closed, taking an intentional 4th minor because Texas only has 2 defenders right now, Belle Starr and Lucille Brawl, which is enough to send Kelly off the track. She gets a cut track minor, but she comes out the front of the pack first. That was a calculated move by Kelly Young. Oh, and it does not pay off. Vicious Van Gogh picks it up, shuts it down.
That's right. This is going to stay a 5-point game. Texas with 62. Kansas City with 67. We've got 22 minutes and 32 seconds to go. We do want to thank Derby for all. Experienced Derby skaters getting you in the right gear to take you to the next level. Derby for all.
Vicious replaced on the line by Olivia Shootin' John. Kelly Young decides that the last jam was so short she'll take another one. Kansas City with 3 defenders, thanks to the intentional 4th. By Case Closed, takes a knee because Texas only has 2. Kelly Young this time figures it out. She sails out front. Lead jammer Kansas City has to recycle herself. And in doing so, Olivia Shootin' John gets in front of her, kind of the opposite of the last jam. Kelly shuts it down because she fell behind.
And the scariest chess game you have ever seen in your life continues. 21 minutes, 46 seconds to go. 5-point game. Score has not changed. Kansas City 67. Texas was 62. And it looks like Vicious Van Gogh in black and red for Texas is going to be jamming. And number 69 in white and red for Kansas City. Track Rat is poised to start picking up points in this next jam as well.
Municipal Auditorium coming alive in the crowd with the sound of howls. Kansas City takes a timeout, an abbreviated pack on both sides when the action resumes. Dumpy?
Dr. Hauschka, the WFTDA's official bruise healer. Lose the bruise with Dr. Hauschka's Ouch Aid. Don't forget about 5 Stride Skate Shop, the preferred shop of Bonnie Thunders, Deranged, Psychobabble, Susie Hot Rod, and Teflon Donna. 5 Stride Skate Shop.
Sarah Heupel and Lucille Brawl, the only blockers on the field for Texas when the action resumes. And Eclipse and Bruiser, the only ones out there for Kansas City when the action resumes. Vicious versus Track Rat, but there is what looks like it's going to become an official timeout because the coach from Kansas City is talking to the officials, as is the captain, Curvette from Texas.
Got to do due diligence on those numbers. Every point counts in this game. It always does. And you know what, Dwayne? While that timeout was going on, you could see on the track the camaraderie that these two teams have. They're not in the middle of a jam, so they're not each other's enemies until that first whistle blows. You got to love seeing the respect from the jammer line.
Yeah, you do. I agree with that. Track Rat comes off the line. That abbreviated pack cannot even touch her lead jammer, Kansas City. It also cannot touch Vicious Van Gogh, so we might see a little Texas shootout. No, we won't. Track Rat gets there first, picks up all four, shuts it down. Vicious a kilometer away.
Eclipse and Bruiser sweeping Texas underneath the carpet, allowing Track Rat to get through and pick up all necessary points and all available points there on the track. Kansas City now with 71, Texas with 62. 20 minutes, 48 seconds to go, Dwayne.
Texas got their full defense back. Kansas City back up to 3. The strength in their pack. And Hall Balls versus Olivia Shootin' Olivia on the outside, but Evolution just sends her packing. Sends her to the Kansas City bench nearly. Hall Ball's trying to claw her way through. She's in front of Olivia at this point.
Now she's trying to get around Molotov Impale and Belle Star. Now joined by the pivot Loose Bandit in black and red for the Texecutioners. It looks like we finally have a lead jammer. That is going to be Olivia Shootin' for your Texecutioners.
And Hall Ball still having a hard time getting through this 3-wall in the front of the pack for Texas. Texas in black, Kansas City in white if you're just tuning in. And if you are, I feel sorry. Olivia Shootin' has to contend with Eclipse, who sends her pack and makes her recycle to the back. But this is still Hall Ball's first run, so nothing to fear there. And that 3-wall just got Hall Ball's number. It's 30. Hall Balls comes out the front of the pack. Olivia Shootin' looks up at Caesar, shuts it down.
Looks like she picked up all 5 points there, Dwayne. Great for Texas there. They want to not only keep this tight, but they do obviously, and of course, want to pull ahead. And they know it's going to take a little bit of hit it and quit it. You got to chip away to make a masterpiece. You can't use a piece of dynamite to make something pretty. Right now, we've got 19 minutes, 18 seconds to go. 71 Kansas City, 67 Texas.
This is the kind of game where you have to watch the penalties because the skill level at full strength seems to be similar, and they've taken a lot of penalties in synchronicity. It's been a micro pack on both sides. We haven't really seen a whole lot of 4-on-2 defense.
Kelly Young going to be jamming for Kansas City, gets bumped out of bounds in the straightaway. Vicious Van Gogh doing a little bit of defensive jamming there as she starts her way through the pack, trying to go right through the middle and get around, or through rather, Bruiser and Evolution. She keeps fighting. She gets 20 feet away from the pack, must be let go. She's your lead jammer, Texecutioners.
Kelly Young now breaks out also, so both jammers in scoring position, but they're on opposite ends of the track, and Vicious going to get there way ahead of Kelly Young. Bruiser gives a big bump to a Vicious. She hits the floor. And Kelly Young sneaks in on the inside, picks up all 4 points. Vicious got 0.
Vicious Van Gogh not happy. She was on her knees. The second she went down, started hitting her hips. And it was a couple of seconds before the jam whistle was blown. So now we're going to have a timeout, Texas. I guarantee you this is the conversation they're going to be facilitating.
Texas talking about this. Curvette is standing at parade rest in front of the officials, and Johnny Roastbeef mimicking the motion of calling off the jam. So it's not tough to interpret the conversation that's happening down there right now. Kansas City all smiles.
Kansas City's got 75 points right now, Dwayne. Texas has 67, and we are at a timeout at this moment. 18 minutes, 8 seconds to go, and we want to thank Merch Mama for supplying Derby swag everywhere to the Roller Derby Nation. Also, Roller Girl Skates. Find them at rollergirlskates.com. Look for Trigger Mortis if you're at a local Big 5 tournament event.
Bruise her. joining the conversation. Both coaches, both captains out there. Bruce Hurst showing the call off the jam side and shrugging her shoulders, and now the official shows an exaggerated call off the jam sign with his hands way above his head in a way animated way. I suspect he's saying call it in a more flourishy animated way if you want us to see it. Now we see an official timeout rather than a team timeout, as one could. And Johnny Roast Beef points to the scoreboard, or the clock probably more specifically.
I gotta love all these signs we've seen this weekend. Texas barbecue tastes good, says Kansas City Roller Warrior fan.
Nom, 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 over to the side.
You know, finger licking good sometimes, but it might be a little bit early to start making those predictions. You gotta love the fans from both sides. You even see Ozzie Zion out there with the Texas flag, pumping up the cheering section for the Texecutioners.
Kansas City native Ozzie Zion in that task.
Well, you know what? You got to love your home team, and he lives in Austin, Texas now. Used to be a big part of some of the promotional crew at the bouts in Wynwood Skate Center.
I remember that. He needs a Two-Face costume, you know, like half and half Kansas City, half Texas.
Well, it looks like we're going to have Track Rat jamming for Kansas City in white and red, and that's going to be Olivia Shootin' for the Texecutioners, who gets a major back block and is heading to the penalty box. This is something that we have not seen a lot in this game, and it could be detrimental to the Texecutioners' survival. They do need to be able to stop Track Rat in this power jam, giving the advantage to Kansas City, Dwayne.
Ref liaison just informed me that it was a review because Texas want to ensure that the jammer ref's calling it as soon as possible. Of course, we knew that. And now Track Rat sent to the box, and I think the first power jam we've seen.
That was the first power jam of the game, and it looks like we're in the middle of a jammer turnstile, as now Track Rat's going to be sitting down for Kansas City, serving the exact same amount of time in the penalty box as Olivia Shootin' who has just made her initial pass, getting through the pack. There will be no lead jammer. This will be a full 2-minute jam.
That kind of has to remind you, 13 minutes into the second half, that actually both teams have really kept their jammers clean in this game, haven't they?
They've almost been perfect mirror images as far as penalties are concerned. As you mentioned earlier, when there was a micro pack out there, it's for a reason. They all got penalties at the exact same time. They've been managing them in a very similar fashion. And it looks like Olivia Shootin' going to break out of the pack and pick up 5 points.
There were some multiplayer block minors in that. Oh, man.
Killbox going for a last chance hit there, but it does not phase Track Rat, who is now through the pack on her
Killbox just bounced right off a quick no-pack call, and as a result, Bloody Mary will come out the front of the pack, Olivia Shootin' to get 4 points, and that will put Texas out in front by a point.
Track Rat in the middle of the pack, but that jam comes to a conclusion. Kansas City able to pick up 1 point there.
It's going to be a tie game, Curvette to Curvette, and 16 minutes left in the game.
Wow. Hey, you know what? It's nice to be right sometime. We open it up this game going, just wait. The score is not necessarily the most important thing happening on the track right now, as it's going to be hand, tooth, and nail. Whoever wins this game is going to get out by the flesh on their teeth.
And that's exactly what is coming to pass. Now an official timeout.
Kansas City all ready with all 5 players ready to go on the track. Looks like it's going to be case closed, jamming in white and red for Kansas City. And for the Texecutioners, again, it's going to be Vicious Van Gogh in black and red. The pack for Texas is having their own little huddle there right next to the infield. And this is what serious teams do. They're like, okay, we've got a few minutes. Let's use them. Let's not just hang out. Let's see what the next move is going to be so we can come out with an advantage over our opponent.
I saw some back block motions in that conversation. Let's see what the ref has to say.
Looks like the head official going over, checking the math, making sure that the numbers are right. And we have got a fantastic non-skating official crew here. They are the ladies and gentlemen in pink polo shirts, and they are the number crunchers of roller derby, making sure our stats are correct, making sure that we have data to compare a penalty challenge or a scores challenge to. And they do a fantastic job in and out at home leagues and at the Big Five tournament swing. Right now you are watching the 2011 South Central Region Playoff, brought to you by the Women's Flat Track Derby Association and broadcasted on WFTDA.com.
And we will get an explanation from our ref liaison as soon as we can, but in the meantime, action back underway. Vicious Van Gogo held in the back, case closed, trying to sneak out the front. They're not careful, they're going to get a no pack. And case closed, taken down by the three wall in the front of the house. Dump truck, what did she have to say?
That was an official timeout. They were confirming the number of major and minor penalties and also doing a check on the number of points in that last jam. Everything is kosher, and we're back on the track.
Polygon flattens, case closed twice, and that's going to give Vicious the opportunity to at least get to the front of the house, and it's a loose pack. They have to let her go. Vicious loses her footing. She is lead jammer. She has to recycle to the back. Now she's behind case closed. Case closed just in a middle of bunch of Texas defense.
Well, you got Smarty Pants out there, you've got Shortcut out there, and you've also got Polygon, and they're doing this waterfall all over case closed right now, and it has forced her to the back of the pack. Great pack play there by the Texecutioners.
Oh no! An Eclipse, the blocker for Kansas City, bumps Vicious. Vicious does not bother to recycle herself, and to the box she goes for a cut track major. Power jam, Kansas City.
And this will go the full 2-minute complement. We've got 31 seconds to go in this jam, 14 minutes, 6 seconds to go in the final period of gameplay.
Tie game, but case closed, enters the back of the pack in scoring position. The only jammer out there, but Texas does have all four blockers to Kansas City's half pack.
Tell you, Texas is going to need to watch those multiplayer blocks. If your arms are touching and even look like they're intertwined whenever a skater makes contact, they do have the opportunity to call a penalty on that. But right now, we're going to focus on Kansas City as they pick up another 5 points to take the lead. It's a grand slam for the Kansas City Roller Warriors, bringing them to 81 points over Texas's 76.
A power jam versus a power pack on that last one. And just at the end, Smarty Pants into the box, so Texas will only have 3 blockers next time. And it looks like there's more clarification. Looks like this time it is, once again, both teams, both coaches, both captains out in the middle of it. Excuse me, Curvette's still sitting on the bench. Whatever it is, they decide to go on with the game, and Kansas City did get one of their blockers back at the same time. Texas lost theirs. So no longer a power pack. It's man-on-man coverage, 3 on either side. But it is a power jam, and it is lead jammer Kansas City is Track Rat.
You got to like that little shuffle move she does when she comes out of the pack to make sure she stays in the line. She was having a bit of an uncomfortable conversation with the outside line there in the back stretch. Does a little hop, skip, and a jump, gets right on through, and that lets her go to this next pass here, Denouncer Dwayne.
On the inside, another 5-point grand slam. 2 5-point grand slams in a row, and Kansas City now with a 10-point lead, and in this game, that's a big lead.
It is. This is a huge lead in this game because the competition is so tight. I tell you, the comparison to number 1 and number 2 here is almost transparent. It's almost the same team out here. They're playing fast, hard, intense, and very intelligent flat track roller derby.
2 sides of a coin, Kansas City and Texas. Bruise her, Evolution and Eclipse. Bruise her upset about something, and timeout called. Bellstar, Curvette, and Lucille Brawl, the defense for Texas.
Looks like we got a little camaraderie going on between Eclipse and the captain for the Texecutioners, Curvette. A little chuckling happening. I have a feeling that Bruiser is just getting a confirmation on minor penalties to the ladies that are on her team on the track.
Olivia Shootin' facing off against Kelly Young. And Olivia Shootin' up the gut, but stopped immediately. And Kelly Young on the inside, Olivia on the outside. Olivia makes it first, but has to recycle herself. Lead jammer, and of course she shuts it down because Kelly Young had turned on the rockets.
Boy, Eclipse, Bruiser, and Evolution in the pack doing some serious work. Eclipse just barely getting a bump there on Olivia Shooting John to put her out of bounds, forcing her to be recycled long enough for Kelly to put the pressure on and force off that jam call.
Texas has 3 blockers, and Hall Ball is going to take an intentional fourth. So 3 defenders on either side. Again, Kelly Young versus Olivia Shooting John. They come off, and Kelly Young sneaks right up the middle. No, not fast enough. Olivia Shooting John on the inside comes out of nowhere. Lead jammer, Texecutioners.
You never know who's going to pop out of that pack sometimes. It has been very, very tight in that pack. The hits are big, but they don't need a lot of distance between opponents to make them.
And that one was all polygon that kept Kelly from answering any of the 4 points that OJ put on the board. Texas sneaking back up to KC.
Sneaking back up all the way from what, a 10-point game?
Yeah.
80 points Texas, 86 now Kansas City. 10 minutes, 17 seconds to go here at the 2011 South Central Region Playoff, brought to you by the Women's Flat Track Derby Association.
Just a watertight defense on both sides, but when the jammer gets through on both sides, they are just in a drag race.
Vicious Van Gogh jamming for the Texecutioners. Looks like that's going to be number 69, Track Rat for the Kansas City Roller Warriors. Again, Texas in black, Kansas City in white, and Vicious Van Gogh is your lead jammer for the Texecutioners.
She was getting ground up by Eclipse and Bruise Her, but managed to break free. Track Rat still behind. She's going to try to play a little defense. Oh, loses track of her. Excuse me, she is going to the box.
That's going to make this a power jam advantage, Texecutioners. Vicious Van Gogh getting bumped out of bounds by Eclipse. Eclipse having to go to the penalty box now, and that is going to put Kansas City in a predicament, to say the least. Hall Ball's on her feet, ready to re-enter the action, leaving room for Eclipse to take a seat on the penalty box. We've got one blocker out there, for Kansas City, and that is Bruise Her, and it looks like Lucille Brawl is going to be going to the penalty box for the Texecutioners.
Texas like a row of baby ducks, just maintaining track speed. Bruise Her unable by herself to slow down Vicious.
Vicious Van Gogh hits the back of the pack, goes down in the backstretch, making a very, very big snow angel in the middle of the track, making sure that her jam ref knows she's trying to call off that jam.
Little editorializing there on the part of Vicious, perhaps.
You know, passive-aggressive sometimes actually works in roller derby.
I've noticed that.
Texas now with the lead, 95 points over Kansas City's 86. 8 minutes, 26 seconds to go in the final period of the finals game here at the South Central Region Playoff.
What is going on with this pack? Whatever the case, OJ, the only jammer out there, the pack takes off, and Track Rat still in the box for a little bit longer. Texas with a 9-point lead. And OJ taken down. There was a no pack.
Wow. And it looks like
it was a low block major. Vicious sent to the box, and
now we've got 3-on-2 in the pack. You got Trauma and Bruiser going against some of the toughest combination that Texas has had to offer thus far. Wow. Trauma with an answer back to the hit on her jammer, allowing Track Rat to get through the pack. She's not going to be your lead jammer. Folks, this is going to be a full 2-minute jam. We've got 1:05 to go in it.
And Track Rat had already spent just about her entire 60 seconds in the box when Olivia Shooting John, I called her Vicious earlier and misspoke, went to the box. So she's going to have to fulfill that full minute herself. And Track Rat back on the track with a Kansas City half defense and a 3-wall of Texas to contend with, and they are all just trucking out there.
When all at one time, Track Rat finds the moment to turn up the gas and she gets to the front of the pack now, trying to get around Lucille Brawl. Almost able to feed the baby on that one, feeding the jammer back into the pack, trying to cause her to slow down, and this power jam is now over as Olivia Shootin' is in the middle of a pack herself.
Olivia Shootin' just waylaid by Eclipse, manages to stay on her feet. That's her initial non-scoring run. Track Rat with a grand slam so far, looking for another scoring run. Uh-oh! I think that's a low block major.
That is correct, sir. It looks like 1 point there being awarded to Kansas City, making this a 4-point game.
Track Rat upset. Kansas City 3 points behind. If she had entered that pack, she probably would have tied it because they were 4 points. She gets 1 point.
As we were saying earlier, there's no love lost on the track. You see the big thumbs up there. We're going to wait till we get an official clarification, but I think we know what word is coming.
It is a mirror image of what happened last year. Remember that when Curvette, the captain, with a low block on Kelly Young, it turned into a gross misconduct, and it looks like Killbox is going to get the same thing this year on Track Rat. No way can this happen again 1 year later.
You know, history does tend to repeat itself, and Killbox has yet to leave the track in its entirety, hoping for an official's clarification. But this is a clarification. It's time for her to take off that helmet, have a seat, and stay a while, because we've still got 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the final game here at the WFTDA South Central Region Playoffs. Kansas City with 92, only 3 points behind. Texas with 95.
Unbelievable that last year in the South Central Region Playoffs in Lincoln, the exact same scenario would happen again. It's remarkable.
Hot ball's going to be jamming for Kansas City, but it looks like Vicious Van Gogo is the jammer doing the damage here early in this jam as she busts out of the gate and grabs lead jammer status. Hall ball's now going to be going to the penalty box for a major cut, and now this is a power jam advantage to Executioners.
Vicious Van Gogo having to deal with a 4-wall in the front of the pack, Kansas City style. There are 3 blockers on the track still for the Texecutioners. Trying to eat up the penalty on the Texas side. Sandwich Vicious Van Gogo between Evolution and Bruce Her. And now Tough Noogies sends her packing, but Vicious Van Gogo, beautiful footwork, finds her way out the front. It is a 5-point grand slam, and Texas makes it an 8-point lead. Just under 5 minutes left to go. Good grief, man. What a game.
Vicious Van Gogo putting the brakes on as she approaches the back of the pack. Now she got around Tough Noogies, and that picks up more than 1 point as there is 1 ghost point in the box, being the jammer from Kansas City. 0 points there for KC. And it looks like 2 there for Texas. 103 Texas, 92 Kansas City, and the clock continues to wind down. Both teams with 2 timeouts apiece, and there's only 4 minutes, 23 seconds to go in regulation, Dwayne.
11-minute lead. Hall ball still in the box. Both teams have their full defense, however. Olivia Shootin' the only jammer out there. A no-pack call thanks to Texas taking a knee. Trauma tries to close it off. The pivot, Loose Bandit loses her helmet cover, puts it back on. A no-pack, and Olivia Shootin' lead jammer just as Hall balls comes out of the box.
Hall balls to the back of the pack now, trying to get through the large black wall of Executioners. Not able to do so thus far. And wow, the hard work being put in right now by Olivia Shootin' is about to pay off as she does get around Annie Mall and Bruce Her to pick up a grand slam for the Executioners.
And the Kansas City defense just lost Olivia Shootin' in the sun that last time, and it looks like they do it again. They do not see her approach. And as such, she slices from the outside straight up the gut, 2 grand slams in a row, and this is going to be the biggest lead that we've seen in the game.
If there's a time to help your jammer out, it is right now. Looks like Hall balls is getting a bit winded out there, and Kansas City needs to take their pack, go to the rear, and help their jammer get through before she picks up penalties and turns this into a power jam situation.
Looks like the last scoring run does count. Hall ball's winded, just had the wind knocked out of her. And Olivia Shooten-John did get the last grand slam, so that's like a 20-point jam, and Texas up by almost 30 points. How do you come back from that in a game that's never had a lead this high?
Yeah, this is the largest lead of the game, and this is what it comes down to at the end. You got to manage those penalties. If you don't take care of that penalty box, it doesn't take much for your opponent to squeak by, as the competition level is at such an utmost high and an even kill.
Track Rat and Vicious Van Gogh standing on the line. 2.5 minutes left in the game, and Texas with a 30-point lead. Kansas City takes a timeout. Looks like a score clarification. No, just adjusting the clock. It's going to be 2:29. 123-92, Texas over Kansas City in the final moments of the final game of the 2011 South Central Region Playoffs. Show me Derby Q. Everybody expected it to be Kansas City versus Texas, and everybody expected it to be this tight a game. Only 2 blockers out there for Kansas City. Bruce Her and Eclipse. Vicious Van Gogh trying to sneak through. Track Rat doing a great job. That monster jam on the last jam by Olivia Shooten-John, putting Texas out front. And
Wow.
Vicious Van Gogh picks up lead jammer.
If you are a skater, you belong on the track. Otherwise, you're doing no one any good at all. And Texas able to capitalize on that one very true fact. Looks like Polygon going to be going to the penalty box. Track Rat now out of the pack on her initial pass. Vicious Van Gogh scraping her way through that pack, trying to pick up these points here late in the game with under 2 minutes to go. We're at 145, and Texas now has 127 points over Kansas City's 92. And we've got another timeout for Kansas City. This looks to be their final timeout of this game, Dwayne, and we've got quite a bit of time on the clock for all sorts of shenanigans to be happening.
Is the curse real, or is it just mad skill on the Texas side?
Well, we've got 1:44 to figure it out. I have a feeling it's going to be because Texas is having a great time playing right now. They've got a lot of things happening in unison, and it's working out for them. Their jammer core is trustworthy. They're doing the work. They're getting it done. The pack in black is able to bombard and get in the head of the jammers from Kansas City and able to keep them in the pack while their jammers muscle their way around.
If you're Kansas City, if there is anybody you want on the line right now, it is Snot Rocket. Kelly Young. She will face off against Olivia Shooten-John. 4 defenders for Texas. 3 on either side. Everybody takes a knee.
Eclipse wants to get moving, goes up to cause a no-pack situation, and here goes the jam. Olivia Shooten-John tries to go to the inside of turn 1, attempting to get around Evolution, Eclipse, and Bruiser, who must let her go, while Kelly Young is still stuck in the back of the pack, and it's going to be lead jammer, Texecutioners.
And Texecutioners, with everything going right now, Olivia Shooten-John enters the back of the pack. Ground out and bombarded by Evolution, but then she goes out too. Kelly Young takes the opportunity to exit the front of the pack, so both jammers in scoring position. But OJ already there scoring points again, sees Kelly Young's approach, and she does not call it at this point. They're ready to burn off the clock. Kelly Young taken down in the front of the house, a low block major on. Yes, it was only a minor. No, it was on Kelly Young.
That is, she did not realize that she was getting that penalty, continued to go out of the pack, and we're going to end this game in a power jam. And Dwayne, we've got 33 seconds to go. Texas has to feel good right now, and this is the smart move. Don't get any dumb penalties. Texas is not a dumb team. What Texas is smart, physical, and trustworthy. They trust their pack, they trust their jammers, they trust their bench, and it trickles all the way down, and it looks like they're going to be going to Denver, Colorado in the #1 seed in the South Central.
Which is the easiest route to the Sunday games in the Continental Divide and Conquer.
Yeah, that's truly what you're fighting for. You want to make sure that you've got the best path on your way to that final game at the championship tournament. And wow, Texas wanted it. They came and they got it, and it happened in the last few minutes of the game. As we said earlier, looks like I was wrong. It's more than a 15-point gap. Texas with 132, Kansas City with 92.
40 points, and it all came right at the end on a monster jam by Olivia Shooten-John. And Texas ecstatic. And how about these teams? Every time I don't think that either of them have ever won consecutively.
No, there's actually been in this region, no one's won consecutively every time, as is the Hydra. No one has been able to repeat at all getting that trophy. Both of these teams know what it's like to take the Hydra home, and they're going to go to Denver, Colorado, and look to do some damage at the championship tournament.
And as of today, no league has ever picked up first place in the tournament that they hosted. And Kansas City is not either.
The curse continues.
132-92, the official final. And how about that? Give it up for the Texecutioners. Yeah, I know you're watching on a stream, but there on your couch, give it up for the Texecutioners.
I have a feeling there are many a living room in Austin that have just combusted, and there's nothing spontaneous about it. Those people down there party with gasoline and good times.
Oh, man.
And I guarantee you, Austin has been set ablaze in this evening.
It is drenched in tequila even as we speak.
As it should be. They've got a lot to be proud of. Most people, including myself, picking Kansas City to take this win on into Denver. Texas, proven that the originators of Flat Track Roller Derby still are at the top of their game here at South Central Region Playoffs in Kansas City, Missouri.
So the final results of the tournament when it comes to the three top seeds that will be traveling to the 2011 WFTDA Championship Tournament in Denver, Colorado. The Continental Divide and Conquer are Texas in first place, Kansas City in second, and Nashville in third. Once again, it's going to be cool, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to see how these regions all play out. We've got one to go. We know who's going to represent the East. We know who's going to represent the West. And now the story has been told about who the South Central region is going to be taking all the way to Denver, Colorado. Next stop, Indianapolis at the North Central Region playoff there to see how we're going to fill the rest of that docket.
Monumental Mayhem, the fourth chapter in the storyline of the 2011 WFTDA postseason. I can't wait.
I can't either, because my big behind is going to be up there in Indianapolis, and I cannot wait to talk about another fantastic region of Flat Track Roller Derby.
And so ends the Show Me Derby queue. Dessert is served.
I love dessert.
Me too.